Screen. Can you all see my screen? Is the
Yes,
comment?
we
You can
can.
see my screen.
Yes, we can.
All right.
Yes, we can.
Wonderful. So before I proceed, this is not a textbook session where I come to tell you what I've read in school or what I've been taught. This is a story that spawns within me. Like I said, I want to warn you ahead of time. I may get emotional. However, I'll do my best so we could, get things together. So achieving success against the odds. I titled this one personally, the humanity within me, because it is stiff within me. How, as a society, as a people, we are expected to have a lot of good, but however, the world is challenging in every aspect of where you seek it. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can
Can you all
hear
still hear
you.
me? Okay, so I'll just
Yes,
shoot
we
there.
can hear you, sir.
So on this
Okay.
session, we would talk about reflections about myself, goal setting, tracking your progress. You need to be prepared to be disappointed. Please do not be angry. It is not easy, but please do not be angry. And learn to define your support boundaries. Learn to say no at some point as well. So let me shoot. So this is where it all began. It all began with a young person in high school. I was the head prefect. Some schools call it head boy. So in secondary school, I was the head boy, and I wanted to just do things. I didn't know how to do leadership. But unfortunately for me, it happened that all of my subordinates were all powerful. So I couldn't control anyone. Everyone was doing their thing. And it happened that a social prefect had a fight with a student, and it got out of hand, and every other person was suspended, including myself. I had envisaged that at the end of the session in my senior secondary school year 3, I would be on the podium addressing parents, telling them about the success of what we've done, because that's what the head boy does every year. I couldn't do that because I was suspended, solely because I felt I had failed. So you need to start where you are and just know that the future is in your hand to skill yourself. So what did I do? I left secondary school, and when I got to the university, I promised myself I was going to try again. I had failed in leadership. It was something that was burning within me. I wanted to do something because I had a big fear to lead people, but I wanted to take on that challenge. So to stay afloat, I joined the Enactors program, and I was learning under the tutelage of the students there. I was seeing what they were doing. I wanted to just learn. I wanted to pour something out because I had something within me. So I launched a personal project at the time with other secondary school students, and I was teaching them leadership. Yes, all I taught was leadership, because I felt that if they had that skill from the level which I didn't have it, it was very, very important. And then you could see an Africa piece carried around my neck. That was purposeful, because each and every time I carried that necklace, I would tell myself, I am carrying Africa around my neck, and I need to prove that Africa will be great by impacting others. Because I felt at the point that young people were the resource, people was everything. So I was just there to impact. That was the primary goal. Nothing else mattered to me. I was spending my personal money, nothing else mattered to me. So I saw a publication in 2017 that said they were looking for a campus director for the Cohort Prize on Campus Accelerator event. I don't know if anyone knows about the Cohort Prize. The Cohort Prize is one of the largest and prestigious student prize of $1 million. They put a challenge every year, and then you to use that challenge to bring up a solution. And whoever wins goes to the UK. They call it the Ashford Castle, the business Ashford Castle. And what you do is, when you win in the accelerator, you are automatically granted the $1 million. So I said to myself, there is talent that is not untapped because people do not know their potentials. They do not really know that they have leadership within them. So I said, I think I could do this. So I registered the school and I was awarded the campus director at the time. But I needed to define my goal. What was it that I really wanted to do? What was important to me at that time? So what was important to me at that time was myself, proving that I could do something to prove to myself that I could lead. And before you lead others, you must first lead yourself. It's very important. So I knew I couldn't lead others until I had led myself. And what did I do? On the on-campus event, we had a whole lot of struggle in the event. My task was simple. Bring student innovators together, create a pitch just like this, bring speakers, bring partners, let them pitch their ideas. Whoever has the best idea wins. And then whoever wins has the automatic tickets to pitch with other schools in Abuja. Abuja was the round then. And what happened? Yes, we had a winner from my school, Prico. They were an environment solving startup. And I was happy. I had done something. You know, I had been able to prove myself that I could do something. And at the time, my team members saw that I was really doing so much with the Hot Prize. And then they sent my name to the Enactors Nigeria. Please don't get these two mixed up. The Enactors Nigeria is the country office that is in charge of the Enactors program at Bayero University. I went to Bayero University. The Hot Prize is an initiative that I started. I brought and I registered the school for. So, but I placed it under the Enactors program so that it could make sense to everybody, so that it could, be of benefit. And what did I do next? I approached the vice chancellor. I convinced him. I had a faculty advisor. So I didn't do this alone. I had a faculty advisor. I had other students who also believed in what I was doing. So I carried people along. I was learning skills in human resource, in emotional intelligence, and in most of all, management of resources. And the school approved. The school approved the first set of people to go to the United Kingdom, and they approved the second set of people to go to Kenya. But unfortunately for me, right before my eyes, my name was removed from the person that was supposed to go to Kenya. Why? I later found out that the mentor we had appointed for the students who won for the second aspect was a nepotist. Nepotism was just everywhere. So seeing all of the activities I had done, I was furious. Why was my name removed from those going to Kenya? Even the vice chancellor said when the names came forward, I didn't see my name, that he said I was not part of the team. I said, I was a campus director. Why wouldn't I be part of the team? Well, that went by. I let that one go. I said, oh, probably UK was going to work out. And we made a bid, and the school had a budget of 2.7 million naira for 4 students to go to the UK. And the lecturer at the time, when the money was sent to his account, he immediately booked tickets for everybody. We had not secured visas. We were still trying to stay afloat. Some of us were trying to get our passport to go to the United Kingdom. Sorry, I didn't mention. So we had gone to Abuja and we had won the on-campus event in Abuja. So we were the Nigerian team representing Nigeria in 2019 for the Hot Prize. And it was a record-breaking event because for the Hot Prize, no team from Nigeria had ever made it to the Global Hot Prize in the UK. So it was something that I felt proud of. But knowing that I couldn't achieve that was really demoralizing. So the lecturer had taken the money, booked the ticket, he had done his own analysis, did his check and balances, and taken the part of the money that went to him. But later on, when we had submitted for visas, I discovered that my letter was not sent from the school, but other student letter was sent. So other 3 members that we went to the Hot Prize, this is 4 of us. So I'm the one from the left, second from the left. And the other 3 members, their visas were approved because letters were sent from the school, and mine was not sent. I later found out this anyways. But till date, I don't know who didn't send it. Probably the person did it on purpose or not, I did not know. And when I approached the lecturer and I told him, I said, this is what happened. He said, Olumide, you know these things, there's nothing I can do. It is the visa office, blah, blah, blah. You are now on your own. He gave me a lot of by God's grace, I was pained, I was bittered. Imagine if you had worked so hard and everybody else was collecting and taking. That was the picture I was getting at the time. I had worked so hard, and this is people that I started an initiative for, and they happened to get to the UK. But I was not joining them. I was pained. I was depressed, I must tell you. I spent my money for that event. I had done so much. I was broke. I was disheartened. But then at the point where all of these things were going on, I thought to myself, probably I was not looking at this in the right frame of mind. Maybe I was not meant to be in the UK. Maybe I was not meant to, just have all these benefits. Probably maybe I was supposed to facilitate the success of others. I started thinking this way, probably to make me feel better. Can you all still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, all right. So probably to make myself feel better, I started using this mantra. I said, anybody that I put my efforts to help support, their success is my success. Because I am first a spiritual person, and I believe that in the universe, people should be good. We should do good. So if doing good was the first thing I placed first, remember what I said, define the goal from the beginning. So if doing good was the first goal, I should not expect benefits that do not come to play from human error or human behavior or whatever. So I took that in, I took that as a mantra. But then there was someone that told me something. I met him in Lagos and he said, Olumide, you're doing so well, you're doing a lot, but I don't see you tracking your progress. And I was wondering, what does it mean by that? He said, whatever you are doing, put it out there, not just on social media, do newspaper publication. This was a publication from my university bulletin. Do newspaper publication, pay money. If it costs you 30,000 naira to do an online publication about what you have done, do it. So I keyed into that advice and I started tracking my progress. So from what I did on the Enactors program, for what I did on the Cohort Prize, I had a friend in Daily Trust, in Punch, and I was paying money for publications of my work on the Cohort Prize and the Enactors. So I didn't know that all of this tracking of my progress was going to help me in the future. So fast forward to year 2020, my professor who had been with me from the very beginning, from the Enactors program, not the one who was in charge of the Cohort Prize travel, a different one. He nominated me for the Diana Award in the UK, the award for young people who are visionary and humanitarian action, supported by the Duke of Cambridge and the Duke of Sussex. And that was it. I was nominated for that award. But how did that happen? That was because each and every time they went online, they could see progress of what we've done on the newspaper. They could see progress of my name online and what have you. So tracking progress was very important for me in every phase. So I was tracking my progress. And then this happened. In 2018, there was a time when I also registered as a campus ambassador, for Young Innovation Challenge. It was a program that was being hosted by the Office of the Vice President, then President, His Excellency President Yemi Osibajo. And they were looking for some place to do the event in school. Believe you me, that time I was a student leader under the Enactors program, I was team leader. If there was any information that was going to come into the school, I knew first because I was rubbing shoulders with the Vice Chancellor. I was rubbing shoulders with the student union government. If anything was going to happen, I knew it first. So I had told the organizers of the Innovation Challenge that we have a new arena called the Dangote Business School, that they could simply come, they could simply come to the event and use the hall. He was surprised because they didn't expect that from anyone. They were planning the event. How come there's a student ambassador saying that, come to my school, come and host it? So at the end of the day, the proposal went through, and then they said, we think that your school will be good to host this event, and we are coming. So what did I do? In my rush, I sent a letter to the vice chancellor saying that the vice president is coming to the school. He didn't believe me. Everybody I told did not believe me. And they were telling the response I got from the vice chancellor, this is me, by the way, shaking hands with the vice chancellor. This is the student affairs director in my school. That was before the event. And I now told the organizers, I said, okay, send a letter to the vice chancellor, telling them, mentioning my name and telling them that the vice president is coming and you guys are hosting this event here. And when they eventually did, the school automatically took glory for everything. I was expecting it anyways, because I was not disappointed. So remember, be prepared to not be disappointed. So I was not disappointed. The school had now obliged that the vice president was coming. And what did they do? There was a particular part of the Dangote Business School that was not finished. Overnight, they were working on that building until they finished it. I knew what was going on. So I had so much information. If I wanted to use that information to my own benefit, I would definitely use it. But then I was super, super powerful. So what did that tell me? That told me a lot of things. That told me that I had grown from somebody who had messed up in leadership in high school, but then this is me in university again, doing a lot that has to do with leadership, pulling a lot of strings. I was proud of myself. So this is still me not being disappointed in whatever happened. So when the vice president came, he was talking to the vice chancellor, said, "Oh, thank you for inviting me, blah, 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 what and what not." Even the organizer said, "Oh, we are so glad the school has invited us." And in my mind, I was like, have you forgotten that I was the one that sent the email requesting that you come to the school? Has the vice chancellor forgotten that I came to his office telling him that they were going to come, and they finally came. And when we took pictures with the vice chancellor and Yemi Osibajo eventually, that was the greatest moment for me. And I felt that I have achieved. So I was celebrating little wins. So all through, I was not disappointed. But think about this, for the second time, I was not disappointed. First off, I was denied to travel to the UK. Second time, I was denied to go to Kenya. The third time, I was not given appreciation for what I had done. I was already trying to suck everything in to see that this is human behavior. People will disappoint you. And I did not take it for granted. I just decided to move on. Then at the long run, fast forward to 2023, I had finished school in 2020, and I had moved on to study in Africa Business School, Morocco. This is my friend here, Walid. I was also with a Nigerian friend, Kainde. And I began to reflect on my life, because I almost went into depression, I must tell you. Because imagine if you have done so much. My friends were traveling outside the country. They were, living the life I wanted to live. And here was I, there. I had nothing in my pocket. I was angry at life. At the time, I wanted to jump in front of the vehicle and just kill myself. I am very, very serious, because it was painful. It was too painful. Everybody else was progressing except the guy that wanted to do good, except the guy that wanted to be good to everyone. The lecturer who had taken money from us to travel to UK had left the school. He was in Malaysia with his family, and everything was just going smoothly for everybody. And I was pained. But then I realized that anger will not take you anywhere. That anger would only breed more hate within you. And it will most definitely affect you in everything that you do. So I said, I will not be angry anymore. In fact, there was a book I was given to by Yaga Africa, the project I did with Yaga Africa, and it was titled Beating the Odds. And when I saw the title for this session, I immediately reflect on the book. And my learning was learn to define your support boundaries. So if you are going to do good, if you're going to support people, if you're going to do anything at all, define your support boundaries. What is it that I want to do at the beginning? What is it I want to achieve at the end? And learn to say no. Do not accept yes to everything. Have a point where you say, okay, I know I carry something. Because I'm a one-man person. I can do something on my own. I can carry out projects on my own. In fact, this is just a little bit of stories of projects that I have done with people. But then I began to tell myself, I need to learn to define boundaries. And I need to learn to say no to certain things. So saying no is actually a skill. People underrate it. People think that yes, I can just say no. There are people who find it difficult to say no, and that is me. I'm one of those people that I cannot just tell you no. Sometimes when I tell you no, I feel like I've broken your heart. I feel like I've done you wrong. But I had to learn that skill. I had to understand that there are opportunist people out there who just really wanted to take your good for granted. And it is when you realize that people come at some certain time when your boundaries are open and they just really want to pick on you because they know that you cannot say no. And then when they are done, they pull out immediately. Recently, I had a friend that we went to school together, and he wanted to. I had written a project for this scholarship. What's it called now? The Chevening Commonwealth. No, the Commonwealth Scholarship. But he didn't pull through on the Commonwealth Scholarship. The project I sent did not pull through. And my friend came to me and he said he needed a project that he needed to submit to a US organization, that it was a master's degree and he needed a project. I willingly gave him that project to submit, and the project came through. He won the program through that project that I submitted to him. So this was my idea. This was my project. I didn't work on a Commonwealth, but it had worked for my friend in the US. I was happy he had gotten it. But I found that at the end of the day that this guy stopped picking my calls, stopped communicating to me. Even when I reach out to say, oh, how are you doing? He doesn't even respond anymore. And there was a time we all are in a particular group. So I didn't want to conclude that he was not seeing my message. I said, oh, probably this guy is busy. But it got to a point that he would speak on the general group. He would come on the general group and talk. But then I was like, this guy, didn't he see my messages? There was a time I even called and I tried to reach out to him, but then he did not respond. Then I realized that what he wanted had been successful. So the gap of our friendship was to, have what he wanted and then move on. So there are people like that. And I never take it against them. I never take it against them because from the beginning, I had defined my goal. From the beginning, I said, I will not be angry. And from the beginning, I've also realized that I am not perfect. So I said this quote recently. This is my quote. And I said, I have concluded people's actions don't get to me anymore. I don't get angry anymore. It is a stage when you get to, it is very difficult. But when you get to that stage, you have inner peace. I have discovered that I am a pathfinder, not for myself, but for other people. So when I date back myself to 2017, when it all started, down to 2023, I discovered that most things that are done, but for other people and people are successful at it, I am happy with that. So if I'm a pathfinder, not for myself, but for other people, then that should come first. And if other people come first, they are human beings and they have error, because human beings have errors and they have mistakes that they tend not to see, And in somebody else's story, I am bad. I am not good. In somebody else's story, I am a bad person. Somebody else will come on the podium today and say, Olumide, you've done me good. You've done me bad. 1,000 people may say you've done good. 500 people, 600 people may come and say, no, please, that guy is just a good forsaken person. Yes, be prepared to take that, and I've been prepared to take it. And I've also discovered that we are all human beings in this race. And if we began to look at it that way, we would succeed. And that is all from me as my story. And over to you all. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Thank you. Hello, are you there?
Yes,
thank you
here.
so much. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Olumide, and I hope for your inspiring talk. Thank you so much. So if you have any question to ask Mr. Olumide, you can ask now. Thank you.
Can I say something, please?
Yes, you can.
Great. Firstly, I want to appreciate Mr. Olumide for this really inspiring story. Like, I feel personally we no two people have the same exact story, but then we can see our own stories through the lens of other people. Just like Mr. Olumide said, I am just seeing myself in this light. I have had coming from where you are doing so much, and there's no footprint to say, okay, this is what you've done. You are putting so much effort, and there's so little for people to see that you're doing. I've personally learned that if it costs you money to pay for you to push your work out there, pay for it. That is one thing I'm taking away from here. Next, I see so much stumbling blocks, so much disadvantage that came along being a good person. Personally, I see myself like maybe being good is my weakness. But now I'm seeing a strength from a point of view. Mr. Olimide said that necessarily you are not, the last quote he said, I'm a pathfinder, not just for myself, but for others. Right. So I'm saying that because some days I've asked myself, is being good a weakness? I don't usually have the ability to say no, like Mr. Olumide. Any request you make from me, even if it's going to discomfort me and I feel it's very important to you and I feel it's going to take me out of my own track, I say, okay, don't worry, let me find ways to sort it out for you. But I recently just learned how to say no with my full chest, if I can use that word. So I'm just so happy to hear this story, and it's motivating me so much. I know the work I do with in the development space, and I'm happy to learn all of this. These are tricks, these are tips that keeps me that now I'm just thinking how I would have, if I had heard this earlier, how I would have coined or maybe maneuver some things and it becomes my advantage. People come, people go, but that should not change who I am, should not change my personality. You made mention of a friend who you helped to do something. And I'm wondering if it were typical people now, they'll be like, oh, after I've done all of this for this person, this is what he did. But then I can see how your voice is so calm, even as you spoke about all of these things that happened without anger, without resentment, so much energy and positivity. I am just so happy to. I am so happy to listen to this story, Mr. Lumide. And I personally will be connecting with you. I'll look for you. I've seen your Twitter handle. I'll go search for you on LinkedIn permissions. I'll do that, please. And I'll connect with you. If I have your email, so I'd love to drop you an email. Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Joseph. I always felt that I should tell this to a wider audience, and I think you just confirmed that as a feedback. Thank you.
Is it okay if I go next, please?
Yes, please.
Yes, you can.
Hi, Mr. Olumide. Thank you so much for your really, really inspiring story. Just to resonate with what you said about putting yourself out there. I think that's a very, very important aspect we tend to neglect. Like, for instance, myself, my first job in the UK, when I came to the UK, was because they could see the things I was doing online, just as an activist talking about economic policies, security, and all of that. That was how I got my first job in the UK. Even my second job, they made reference to that. And I'm like, if we were not putting all those stuffs online, what could have happened? You know, I may not have been able to find my feet immediately because, you know, as an immigrant with no one in the country, I needed to start making money quickly to sort out my bills. So I think that's one very, very important aspect we should look at. And then secondly, on your issue of leadership, I just want to quickly ask, how were you able to deal with, because I know when you're working with a team of people, leading them, were there any times you came across people who didn't necessarily agree with what you were doing and try to, you know, change the whole system? And if there was, how were you able to deal with that, you know, without causing conflict or escalating the issue?
Yes, sincerely speaking, this was one thing I faced in during an actor's time. I was leading 103 team members. It was really difficult. I was a typical guy who just came from Lagos, and here I was at the north. A lot of people were, you know, how would I put it? They were Muslims, no shades, but people in the north have this, they have this perception, you know, that someone who should lead them should be somebody who is their own, not us, is their own. And so this is what I faced. So there was a time when a particular set of people were not able to make it to the event in Lagos, because we had an event in Lagos, which was like it was a competition. It was a competition. So because they couldn't make it, they said I was biased, we were selective, blah blah blah, this and whatnot. But funny enough for me, I found out that because of the good deeds, because of the way I carry everybody along, it's very important, the way I carry everybody along, I never leave a loose string for you to come back to meet me that I was wrong. So if I had did something wrong, I will come and meet you and tell you I've done something wrong. This is what I have done. If I was doing something at the moment that required me making decision, I would come and tell everybody in the team, this is what we are doing. We need your input. We need you to contribute to it. I was carrying everybody along on every single step. So I found out that when they wanted to topple the system, other people who were supporting me did not agree. Other team members saw that, come on, this guy is the best guy we've had in a long time. He had placed us on a map. He had placed Bayero University on a map for a long time. They were the ones helping me to topple those who wanted to go against me in the system. And I didn't know how I did it. I was making sure that I was picking on everyone emotionally. How do I mean by that? Not in the wrong way. So if you are in a meeting and it was time to pray, I tell people, please, we are ending this meeting before prayer. Everybody has to go and pray. I was not a Muslim, but I was culturally aware that people had to go to pray. I was culturally aware that there are certain times you do certain things. I was culturally aware that I had to send information to certain people during festival times. I honored them. I was their leader, but I honored them. So I was able to identify followership, which was important. Before you could lead, you need to understand followership. You need to understand that you need to follow people first. And to do that, you must lead yourself. Because that's why sometimes people think you could just be on the podium. Politicians who haven't been in leadership before, they just come, they do whatever they want to do, and they mess things up. That's because they didn't have good followership. So how did I do it? I was inclusive one. I was culturally aware. I carried everybody along. And I would come to commit myself to you that I was wrong before you find out I was wrong. So at the end of the day, when you want to call me out, I had already reported myself to you. I reported myself to everyone. So it was easier to say, oh, this guy is playing, you know. That's why I'm saying here, pick on people's emotion. If you know, emotion was very important to me. If I know that I'm going to hurt you or I've hurt you, I'll be the first to apologize. If I know that at the end of the day, things is going to go wrong, I'll come first to tell people, I have done something wrong to this guy. Please, you guys beg him for me. So before you go ahead and do me something wrong, I'd already bring an emotional strength to you first. I don't know if that helps, but probably the also situation might be different from mine. But that was how I dealt with that situation. Thanks.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Yeah. I do not know the caliber of people here, so I didn't really know how to approach this, but I just did it to the best of my knowledge. So I felt I do believe, or I want to believe, that this story had touched each and every one in one situation or another. And there's one thing I did not mention in tracking your progress. During a competition for the Peter Drucker, I don't know if you guys know the former Peter Drucker, the management expert. He has written a lot of books. So they do a challenge every year. So what did I do? I wrote my story, I wrote my experiences down. I'll probably write a book very soon about all of my experiences. So I extracted a particular experience I had, we almost had with kidnappers on the road, and when we were traveling and all of that. And what I had written got to the Global Challenge top 11. I was number 13th in the entire world. But what I was looking for was somewhere that my story could be recognized and stayed there. So at the end of the day, I found out that people would go and check that story. And when they check the story, they come back and see whatever it is that I was saying, and everything was in sync. And that was it. So my story was selling for myself, just to reaffirm what Francis said. So today, when you go on Peter Drucker Challenge 2020 and you Google my name, you will see the story there, and you would read it, and you'll be like, oh my goodness, this guy has gone through a lot. So this is another way when people do not recognize what you've done. At the end of the day, because you've realized that your success is their success, what if tomorrow, the guy that I have helped, if there was a way I could track it, if he becomes a boss tomorrow, I will simply go and talk about it in my story. Yes. If the guys that went to the UK today, if they find themselves becoming a big company, I have a link on paper that says I started with these guys. I brought these guys on board. If they are successful tomorrow, it is my success. Thank you. Let me stop here before I begin to bore you. Any other person, please?
Yeah, my hands are raised up. They're not raised up. Okay. Thank you so much, Olumide. Words fail me to express my gratitude. Thank you so much. Let me just add something which Olumide did not mention about himself. So, who was the person? Okay, it was Joseph that talked about the calmness in his voice. He's a very calm person. The thing Olumide failed to mention about himself is that he's a person of integrity. I think it's something very important, despite being inspired by the stories of all the speakers we've had so far. You need to be a person of integrity, and I have seen that in Olumide, having related with him. He managed a project that I could not, we both worked on it together, and from the beginning to the end of the project, I could see integrity in it. So whatever we do, even when we relate with people, we ourselves should show that integrity. And even in relating with people, once again, Olumide, I would love to say thank you so much. I do relate and resonate with your story. And I didn't even know some of it until you shared it today. And I was like, wow, thank you.
Thank you very much, and I really appreciate that you are here, and I really appreciate for the platform as well. Yes, integrity is really, really important. And like I said, if you can discover that you yourself, you are bad in other people's stories, you cannot be 100% perfect. So please, why are we going about, ranting and when we know that the world can be a better place by helping each other? Please, any hands? Any other further questions? In 5 minutes, the session is supposed to end. And please, I want to always say that I do not know it all. If you also want to share something, please also share. I come to knowledge sharing sessions like this to learn from people as well. As much as everyone wants to also learn from me, I also want to learn from them. So if there's something you also want to share in 2-3 minutes, please feel free to share it. Let's learn from you as well. This is a fellowship. And like I said, leadership is first from fellowship. Followership, to me, is the ideal standpoint of leadership.
Okay, maybe I would like to share something.
Please proceed.
Great, thank you so very much. Thank you everyone who spoke earlier. Mr. Olumide, I appreciate your really insightful and inspiring story, and to my fellows who shared their thoughts and feedback. So really amazing to hear what you said. So quickly, personally, growing up, I've always been not really confused. I knew what I wanted to do, but I did not know how to start it. Right? I knew I've always wanted to do something in the development space, work with rural people. I've always had this emotional connection to this set of persons who maybe at one point in time are disadvantaged. I grew up as an average child, so basically I had access to some things, but it keeps hurting me every time I see that children around me do not have access to these things. And I was wondering, how do I go about this? To be honest, if you know the typical Nigerian education system, when you're in secondary school, if you're in either art or commercial class or whatever department, if you're in art class, they are just like four most popular courses that people will talk about for the university. That would be journalism, law, mass communication. I think, and theater art. Those are the four. I am certain anybody can testify to that. Those are the very four most popular things. And I wanted to do this and I was not sure how to go about it. What would I study to be in this space? There should be some form of direction or so. So, as God will have it, I just did the normal thing. In the end, I studied business administration, but I knew that was not where I wanted to be. I was doing studying business administration, finance, and all of those things was not really my calling. But though I was excelling, to God be the glory. Then I met my present organization. I've seen her on TV before. I just saw her, and well, that was it. So yes, on in 2019, I had an opportunity to meet her in person. I didn't even remember where I saw her, but I know I was like, oh, I've seen you somewhere before. And she said, oh, she needed someone to volunteer as a social media person just to help her update because she was relocating to the UK at then. Her name is Boyta Chadwick. She was a Mandela Washington Fellow. So she was relocating at that time. Sadly, she's late now. May her soul rest in peace. So she was relocating to the UK at that time, and she said you needed someone to just manage. And I was so happy because this was a space I wanted to be in. I didn't even ask her for any money. I said, don't worry, I'll do it for free. I don't need any payment for it. Or maybe you just do data support. And to be honest, the only data support I was collecting, it was 10K at that time. But then I knew that, oh yes, now I'm here. There's a lot of work to be done. Those things I've always wanted to achieve. Let's see how I'll bring it to light. I didn't have any background in leadership. Maybe I would say I'm self-taught. I'm a self-taught leader. I just had to start reading and be knowing how to do things on my own, how to come up with program ideas, how to initiate the projects and all of those things. Like Mr. Alumide said, he's big on emotions, connecting with the people first. So I think that is a personality trait for me too. I connect first, know their pain before the so usually I don't know, I've not seen why I should have altercations with people because I get to understand you too quickly and we can just flow peacefully. Moving on, before I know from just social media person, I moved to the volunteer coordinator and I said, okay, what am I supposed to do here? I don't know anything. Just right when I was about to start gaining from her wealth of experience, because she's well traveled and a very impactful person in Nigeria here. If you check her on Google, she died in 2020. It's like the whole load came to my neck, and it was a whole learning process for me again. At some points, I got depressed. I was confused. I wasn't sure what to do at all. Even I know I got so much support from my family to just keep a nonprofit going, but it was a struggle for me sometimes to really hit this nail on the head and say, okay, this is the impact I have created. So I gave myself to continuous learning, connecting with other social impact leaders, gaining experience from them, sharing my ideas, and collaboration was something that I mastered to learn how to collaborate. Any small thing, okay, let's do together and see what comes of it. Then this year, 2023 now, I got selected to be in the Carrington Youth Fellowship. to be honest, if I haven't checked my record, I might have done some things and I don't even put it out there. But I'm just saying, how did I even get to this point? I haven't done like what some other people have done and they were not able to get it. Right. In the end, what I'm trying to point out is I have seen that consistency and tenacity, even in the face of challenges, is really important. Sometimes we get so overwhelmed and we push back. Imagine if Mr. Lumide decided to just relapse and say, okay, all of these have happened for a reason. He even shared this attempt to maybe commit suicide, which didn't even, thank God he did not do it. We wouldn't have been hearing the story now. So for me, I see myself, I haven't gotten to where I want to get to now because I'm looking to go into real public policy here in Nigeria. But I said, okay, wherever I am right now, it's a good position. There's always hope. There's something else. There's something bigger coming. I don't know what it is, but I'm so positive. If it's the little rural work that I'm doing that it's giving me the light that I want, it's okay. I can be doing that. But I'm so happy to, even now I'm in this fellowship. When I haven't got email to be in this fellowship, I'm like, wait, when did I apply for this one? I don't know, but I will be in it. Let me hear and learn from people. So continuous learning, tenacity, and not giving up. The not giving up spirit has brought me this far, and I'm happy. And I'm happy. It might look like, oh, it's coming late, but I'm happy. At every point, I'm excited to be at that position that I am. Thank you so very much for listening to my boring story, but thank you.
Joseph, I really appreciated you sharing that story, and sorry about your loss. Part of my story, yes, too, is losing somebody at the long run, but I didn't include that in the story because if I'd included that in the story, that's a different story. In fact, this session is inspiring me to probably start a podcast about stories that make impact. I don't know how that process is going to be, but I just have that idea. Then Joseph, if you're so interested in politics and policy, I have a program for you in the US. It just started, and please, you can send me something in on LinkedIn. I saw it 3 days ago, and I think it will be of something suitable for you. So please,
Oh, great.
let's work together on it. Okay.
Okay, great. Thanks. I'll reach out.
All right. Then. Okay. I think we've spent our time, and
Yes.
over to you, Olan, again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Olumide. Your expertise and passion for the topic were evident. We appreciate the effort you put in delivering such an engaging talk. We are truly grateful for the opportunity to hear you speak. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, sincerely. I want to make a request, please. Please do send me the recording, and I will send you the slides later on.
Okay, we'll do that. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Bye for now.
Okay, thank you. Nick, thank you so much, Nick, here for moderating this session. And thank you to everyone that joined in. Somebody speaking. Yeah, Jamilu, do you want to say something?
Yes, I want to say something. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, before you come in, let me just quickly drop this and then you can see. So I see Monica eating. Hello, Monica. Okay, so everyone, thank you so much. And I'm happy to know that even we have fellows who are connecting with the speakers and also gaining access to opportunities that will take them to the next level of their life. Really excited. And that's the essence of this, to be inspired to do more, to be inspired to make it more difference in your life, in your community, and in the world at large. Thank you for everyone who joined in. Jamilu, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Lillian, once again. Thank you, Mr. Olumide. Thank you for a nice presentation. I've learned a lot from your presentation. And I have also taken one or two things from your life experience, from your stories, because they are inspiring, of course. And I just want to say something. I just want to add something about what you said about connecting with people. there is a scenario that happens not once, not twice. It's always happened in my because I was located in the northern part of Nigeria, so I was able to work with international NGOs that are coming from Abuja, maybe they are coming from Lagos. So whenever they have a program or activities or engagement in the northern part of Nigeria, so during their presentation of attestation, they find it difficult to pass that information. And it's because of what you just said, because they are not connecting with the people. Because sometimes whenever we started the program by 9 or sometimes 8:30, so we do not finish, we stayed from, let me say, from that 9 to 5 mostly, or 4:30. So when it is during praying hours around that 2 to 2, yes, we have Azhar, and we also have Asar, which is by 4. So the Azhar is by 2. So most of those partners, those of those partners that are coming from outside, they find it difficult to connect with those people because they don't know when it is time for them to tell them to go and pray. So I'll not like, because since I'm the handler in the state, so we work together, I'll not like tell them that, oh, please, it's time for prayer, and I'll call them aside that they should take note of their praying time, and they should also try to just teach them one or two things so that the training will be more effective and it will also be impactful. So I think most of us are working in the northern part especially. So you should take note of that. When you are trying to connect with the people in that community, know their likes and know what they don't like, so that you will be able to function well, and so that they will also value you as a person. So that's what I just need to add to it. Thank you. Lillian, you can take the
Okay,
mic.
thank you, Jamilu, for that. And once again, thank you, everyone. The speaker's LinkedIn profile will be shared in the group. And yeah, the recordings will come at the end of the fellowship for everyone who attended consistently, and they also will get their certificate and other things. Your assignment will be sent via mail this week. Then we have one more session to go. All this will be communicated to you on the WhatsApp group and also via mail. Once again, thank you so much, and do have a great weekend. Bye-bye.